Top 5 intriguing Sweet 16 matchups. So 3 games don't intrigue me at all. But these do. Number 5, Texas Tech versus Duke. This one, this is kind of contrasting styles. Texas Tech's going to, really play hard defense. Duke doesn't much do that. I've got Texas Tech in the Final Four. I obviously like Texas Tech in this game, but things have come up roses after the first weekend of the tournament for the ACC, so maybe something smiling on Duke right now, but I don't know if they've seen something like Mark Adams is going to throw at them this year.
Armstrong, will you take a Duke loss if it means Carolina loses too? No. Okay. No. All right.
You'll take a Duke loss to anybody, though.
Well, no. Okay. I mean, he hates them, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great game. Obviously, Coach K could be his last game for all we know. I mean, that's the storyline with Duke. Can they go and win it all in his last game? We'll see. Tech, I liked them. I liked them in this game. I like them to get to the Elite Eight and perhaps even beyond that. But, yeah, this will be a fantastic matchup.
Number 4, Houston versus Arizona. This is a Houston team that was in the Final Four last year, an Arizona team that people really think highly of. I do wonder, though, if Arizona has gotten their scare after that TCU game, and Houston might suffer this a little bit because we know what happened when Houston ran up against a super elite team last year. In Baylor, the game was over before it started. Much like Baylor's last 2 games were exactly like that, Houston and Gonzaga. So I'm wondering if Houston has grown from that Final Four loss last year and can deal with an Arizona team, which is good, but it's not as good as the Baylor team that they lost to last year. And I realize that, this is a different Houston team as well.
Man, they got boat raced by Baylor, but everybody did. So it wasn't a surprise. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of let down after the win. You get pushed. Sometimes it makes you better, makes you sharper.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I think, has Arizona gotten their scare now? And they're
remember Al McGuire? You guys old enough to remember Al McGuire? He used to do the games with Billy Packer, and I don't know if it was who else it was. They were fantastic. And he always said, if you're going to win the national championship, at some point in the tournament, you're going to have something. It doesn't have to be a buzzer beater, but you're going to have a game that you win at the last second or minute, push to the edge. Baylor last year ran the table against everybody. Villanova pushed them more than anybody. But that usually is the case, that you have one that goes down to the wire because you got to have a little luck to win this thing as well.
Yeah. Number 3, the matchup between double-digit seeds, Iowa State versus Miami. Miami, a very, very athletic and fast team. Iowa State, similar to that, but these are 2 teams I don't think anybody, we'd be talking about in the Sweet 16, and they're the double-digit matchup. I wonder whose hot streak stays intact.
Yeah, I mean, if it was my list, I would have this game behind those other 2. I mean, I'd much rather watch Duke and Tech than watch Iowa State and Miami at 10-11. But, yeah, I mean, it's an intriguing matchup because they are 10 and 11 seeds, and nobody, really expected either one to be in this position probably, much less the both of them. So that is surprising. But, yeah, it's a nice Cinderella game. They are definitely the outliers for the most part a part of the outliers of this tournament as far as being down to the 16 and having double-digit seeds still out there and alive. It's a good run for both. I don't think it's going to last much longer for either one of them. Whoever wins this game, I think I'm banking on them probably seeing their exit shortly thereafter. But, yeah, this is intriguing because, you don't really know what to expect.
Yeah, they would play the winner of Kansas and Providence, right?
I think so off the top of my head, I think so.
So, that's...
Which will probably be Kansas, and, I would think Kansas dispatches of both of these teams, but you never know. It's March Madness.
Which of these I know you have another one. Which of these double-digit seeds is most likely to advance? Michigan, St. Peter's, Iowa State, Miami. One of those 2 has to.
Yeah. I think it's probably – I think Miami. I think after what they did to Auburn, I've been super impressed. Number 2, Arkansas versus Gonzaga. Arkansas is a team, man. They're fun. They can go. Now, they're kind of like all the rest of the teams in the SEC where you watch them sometimes, you're like, holy cow, these guys can go. And then other days you're like, what is going on
Alabama?
In this league? Yeah. Like Auburn the other day against Miami or Kentucky against St. Peter's, you go, what is going on? But I do think that they play a style that will give Gonzaga problems. And again, I think Gonzaga is going to lose in this thing eventually. Me having Texas Tech in the Final Four, so they either lose this one or they're going to lose to me the next one, as I have it picked. And of course, again, my bracket didn't go all that well, but this Gonzaga team compared to last year's, I'm not all that impressed. I think you can shove them around a little bit. And Arkansas and Tech both played pretty physical.
Arkansas's record against teams in the top 25, 4-1. God, you'd think that they would have played many more games than that. But again, it's when teams were ranked when they played them as well.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, this ought to be a great matchup. Gonzaga has looked vulnerable, and Arkansas has been on a hot little run. I'm still picking Gonzaga to win this game, but I don't think that they are bulletproof by any means. And it wouldn't shock me to see the Pigs pull this one out. It'd be a tremendous victory for their program. But yeah, this ought to be athletic and fun and exciting. This matchup.
How can Arkansas be this deep? And they got there's the Southeastern Conference when it comes to their schedule. They don't play everybody twice, do they?
No, we can't.
They lost to Tennessee in the top 20. They beat Kentucky. When they played Alabama, they weren't ranked. They beat Auburn in the regular season. They beat LSU in the regular season. And that's it. That's amazing they haven't played that many ranked teams because the SEC had some teams very high.
And you look at their non-conference schedule, and it's not, look at who's who, but
Ole Miss, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State. There's 14 teams, but 10 of them aren't in the mix. So, it's not that. I get what you're saying.
When they played Alabama, they weren't ranked, and we know that they were pretty good. Bader sure knows that. Florida wasn't ranked when they played them either.
Yeah, so there you go.
They lost to Oklahoma earlier this year, too. Arkansas did. All right, and number 1, St. Peter's, the Cinderella of the Cinderellas versus Purdue and Jaden Ivey. This, to me, is probably where their run comes to an end, but they've been so locked in. It'll be interesting to see how Purdue reacts, but this is the most it's probably been laid out for Purdue to get to a Final Four in a long, long time, with the top 2 seeds have them gone, and having to beat a 15 seed in the Sweet 16 and then wait for that UCLA St. Mary's result later on. So
yeah, I have no idea. I hope that this is, if it's whatever, down to the wire. Purdue, of course, beat Texas to get to this point. Sometimes the bracket opens up for you and you get something like this. But St. Peter's, when they won that opening game against Kentucky, the bracket didn't open up for the next one.
Yeah, well,
so
one school that's out of the tournament now that we're watching this with great interest will be Shaheen Holloway's alma mater, Seton Hall, who lost their coach to Maryland, and will probably want to make a call to
that. You hope that hasn't interrupted anything. Tomorrow's opening game tip is at 6:09 Arkansas Gonzaga. Craig,
I don't have a lot of high hopes for St. Peter's in this game. I do think Purdue probably wins this game. Yeah. I think they're going to have a good size matchup and be a little bit too much. But yeah, it's a great Cinderella story, and go Peacocks. It'd be fun to see them get to the Elite Eight. That would be amazing.
I love the fact that the coach, Shaheen Holloway, said, "You think we're scared of anybody? I got guys from the Bronx and New York City and New Jersey.
Philly.
Yeah. I mean, we're not afraid of anybody." Okay, tomorrow, John Gallagher of Hartford